Hello and welcome to the Chilled Cardano podcast. I am Illinois with my co-host Chilled Cardano on Twitter. How are you doing this weekend?
Eric. Getting the house
Great to
ready,
hear.
painting every room, every wall, every crevice, every nook, every cranny, getting it ready for Santa.
Trying to get your mind off the markets.
Getting my mind up the markets. Not really,
Touching
though. There's
paint.
so much going on.
Touching paint.
Touching some paint.
There's a lot going on. I'm also getting ready for a little one, so building shelves, all that fun stuff. But yeah, trying to distract myself a little bit, just mostly because it's boring, and people seem a little bit bitchy lately.
Yeah.
And it's
what people are you noticing? Like, not like, you don't have to call anybody out, but like, is it like NFT bros or DeFi dudes, or like
I feel like everyone's
developers, or what?
I feel like it's everyone, but like DeFi and NFT people for sure. I feel like everyone's trying to find the next project to call out, to like predict their downfall, because they want to be like the smart one. And it's like, I don't know, who cares? Like, even if you predict it, no one, like, your 100 followers like respect you. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Is that gonna make you like famous? Or I'd rather talk about like, what's being built. If you don't like something, just ignore it, or unless you really have like some damning evidence, then I think that's good to call it out. But if you're just like, I don't like this project because I don't like this guy,
Yeah.
or like they're not doing enough, like once or twice is cool, but I mean, if you're doing it all the time now, it's just annoying. But
is it like one project in particular that keeps getting like hit, or like Ape Society or Claymates, or?
I've seen it with like a lot of different projects. I think like Beat Boys, which I totally get and I kind of agree with in some way, but Beat Boys and
Which
it's like any
Beat
project.
Boys?
They just said they're gonna announce something in early December, and they just haven't said a word. And they've also been like, they just don't communicate at all. Like, they tweet like once a month, and it's like, that's not enough. Especially when you don't have a Discord, it's like, it's hard
there's
to
nowhere.
keep people interested.
Yeah, there's nowhere for the community to go, and then like, how do you create that fervor, right? How do you create the buzz if it's like, I don't know where to fucking meet up with everybody else who likes this stuff? You know what I mean? And then like, their whole attitude is like, well, we're only gonna announce when we have something special for you guys. Well, it's like, okay, but in the meantime, it's like, you can't just skip out for 60 days and expect these people to stay around. Like, there's literally 3,200 other NFT projects that are just as good as yours. You can't just dip out in your community and expect them to be there when you come back. It's like, like every team is building a user interface with a community, with NFTs, with the decks. Like, if you're not keeping up with the Joneses, you're just gonna fall by the wayside, and no one's gonna wait for you. And it's like, even if you're trying to make like a boutique brand where it's like you're only like geared towards like a couple hundred people that's like your diehards. It's like, you're not even representing them, because it's like, where do they go to chat? Like, are they gonna create a subreddit, or where the fuck do you go?
Yeah, there's like a Beat Boys Twitter community, but even that's like pretty dead, and it's just people like, oh, this project is dead. And then other people are like, stay positive, guys.
It's hard though. It's
it only
like,
takes you so far, man.
The only innovative thing that they've done is the DJ thing on YouTube, which is like, even that's weird, because it's like, it's okay, but it wasn't like innovative in any
Yeah.
way. I don't know. It's hard, even with the thingies that they did, where they just switched out their NFTs. It's like, when are they gonna do
Why?
something? Like,
Like you had this thing that was kind of cool, and then you traded it for this abstract
yeah,
box. It's like, I mean, at least before I had a little hall pass,
right.
but yeah,
With
now
some
I'm fudding.
character, your own bags.
Now
I
I'm
know, but
fudding. Yeah.
I think it's important because I think it's the concerns are real, right? And it's not like they've done anything where they've set themselves apart from any other NFT project. You know what I mean? So it's
I
like
don't have
hard to
like a
be.
history of delivering, you
They
know.
don't have a website or anything. Yeah, I mean, like they have a website with a bunch of cool like links and stuff, but none of it does anything yet. And it's been like almost a year of like that's my issue. It's like when you've been working on stuff for a year almost, and you have nothing to show for it. It's like you should be building blocks, but it's like I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it was cool they sent out like those gift cards or whatever, the stickers and stuff.
That was really cool.
And like I mean, they helped me out personally, which was cool. But I just think like you can't just ignore the community. It just doesn't make any sense. And you can't be like, well, they're always like, follow this other account that like keeps you guys updated on our news. But then the other account also only tweets like once a month. So it's like
Mhm.
you need someone's tweeting every day, like, or every other day at least. Like if you have all this funding to send gift cards, like you should have bought a social media person or something.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I think it's important.
But I mean, there's just so many projects like that too. It's not just them, you know.
No, it's not. It's
And
not
then
a.
like mechanism is also like just dying. It's like slowly rugging. Uh, but yeah,
Oh, the
Split World is at least like they're like teasing stuff, and they have like some art to show you. Before they weren't doing anything, so it's like maybe they're, you know, trying to come back. Um, but yeah, people still FUD the Ape Society, even though they're like clearly have done like a lot, and I think they're deserving of where they are, even though like it wasn't my thing, but I think people are just jealous of that one.
yeah, they had like Monad Alexander, the creator of Gucci.io, has been really fighting that project and calling it a Ponzi scheme. And speaking of Gucci.io, we should check that out.
Yeah,
So basically, it's a project that you could short NFTs. Have you played with it at all?
no, I haven't really dug in. I think it's a little bit confusing to me. Like, I mean, I don't think I'm a dumb person, but I just like if I don't truly understand how it works, I'm not gonna mess around with it. Um, I understand the concept, but I'm just like, how am I personally gonna make money off this?
Yeah.
Like, I can't predict price down or up. Like, I mean, I guess most NFTs are going down in general. So, and it's also like, I don't like how the policy IDs show up instead of the name.
Yeah, I know. It's really hard. I think the whole point of it is to be
Just the search
like
is not great.
it's like I guess he was saying it's like a just like a showcase to be like this is possible. And then I think he just got funding, so now they're gonna work on the user interface. But The whole the whole idea behind the policy ID instead of like the one of one NFT is because it's just a token. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't matter what the artwork looks like. It's just more important that you're shorting the project as a whole. So like the rarity doesn't really matter. It's just like getting one of these NFTs regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
And then kind of shorting it by, yeah, I don't know how it really works. It's like so confusing. So like I guess I can lend this out, right? Like, so this is being lent out, right?
For 25 days at 3%. So they need to pay 600 ADA to get that NFT, or do you put the collateral?
I have no idea. So this is why it's so confusing. I just it's a cool idea. I just don't think it's like there yet, you know? But
But the floor on those is like 500, so I don't get that.
yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, I think we've tried to talk about it before, but then we also
You know,
we
I've
got just
listened to
so
like
confused.
four different podcasts on it to like try to understand it, and it's like it's so hard. Like I guess if you believe in the project, yeah, I have no idea. It's so fucking ridiculous. I
Yeah,
don't know how you would go about like if I believed in the project, how I would utilize that protocol. Because here's the other issue is like the liquidity on that protocol is so little, right? It's like if I'm shorting one NFT on that was Ormob, is that really going to move the price up or down? Like if I sell it for
right.
a couple hundred ADA cheaper than what it is, I would need like a team of guys to like buy 50 of them, short it a couple hundred ADA for the project's floor to move down, right? So unless
Yeah,
you have like pools of liquidity to really force the sell pressure, like just buying and selling one NFT of the project isn't going to move the price at all. It's just like
right.
that's why I don't understand it, because it's like you're just using one NFT. Like you would need someone to do 5 or 6 at a time to really move a price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these
I also
small
don't
bot.
like that you don't get the same NFT back, like,
Yeah.
because sometimes you get like these NFTs that look like dog shit, and that's like then they never sell because no one wants a weird looking color scheme or something.
Yeah, if that's your asset that you're gonna get back, if the person who loaned it out like doesn't want it back, it's like, well, now I'm stuck with the NFT that I don't want either. It's like the asset in itself isn't something that you would want. It's just like there's some like I can see where it can work, but it needs a lot of like I would say it needs another 6 months of development for it to like have a nice use case. But in some weird way, you'd need to create like an NFT pool, like you know what I mean, like a Dex pool where it's like you have all this liquidity and you can come in and out of these NFTs, buying and selling, with a massive
Yeah.
pool where you would earn interest off of that. But to do like one offs, it's just like unless it was like the one of the rare one and you sold it for like 10,000, it just wouldn't move the price, I don't think. And I mean, that's been live for over a week, and I haven't seen any, like everything's just going up. It's not like anything's been wrecked because of that protocol. Like it'd be
Yeah.
interesting if that creator was so interested in that succeeding. It's like, well, then you show us, use your own protocol and fuck over a project, or
Yeah.
vice versa. Like long it and show us like how this would benefit a project. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like show us. Like don't just throw it out there and
Right.
be like, see, nobody wants.
Yeah. See, you can do it now. I mean, he's just making money off the fees, so I'm sure he's happy with that. But
Yeah.
um, have you used Indigo protocol at all?
No, I haven't. Let's check that out. I was actually looking at it this morning.
Have you used a stable coin at all?
I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's not stable enough yet for me.
Has the price been moving a lot?
Yeah, it's like there's not enough liquidity. So at one point it was moving from like 90 cents to like 110, $1.10.
So
I
here
think
is the
it's
dashboard.
pretty
Can you see it?
stable at this point. Yes.
And basically, Indigo is like, what is it? Basically, you can buy synthetic assets on here. So, like, there's Bitcoin, there's US dollars. And if you want to use it, if you want to make dollars,
Mm-hmm.
like, so if you want to use the dollars, you can just go on one of these dexes and go buy it, right? So I go into this pool. I'm like, I need dollars. I mean, it looks pretty. It looks good, Eric. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to bash you, but it looks pretty stable to me.
It was like a week ago. I think it went a little haywire, but
Yeah, now it's getting
now it
better.
seems. I think because Muesli Swap created a pool with like an incentive where like the APR is super high. I think that might have helped stabilize it too.
So basically, what you would do too is like people who are using this, um, you can open up an IUSD account, open it up, and then once you buy those dollars, you can put it in this pool and earn even more interest on it, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool. And then basically, that's a way of longing ADA like extra, like a
Yeah.
couple, like maybe another 100%. So it's another way to like leverage up your ADA on chain, which is I like that idea
But
because there isn't.
it's also like too soon from like for me putting my money in a pool and trusting it to the peg to stay. It's just too risky for me. But
Oh, it's
I
hella
mean,
risky.
yeah,
Hella, I mean, just the way we've seen the price of. If ADA was more stable, it'd be a better proposition. But as of right now, it's the people who are the most risky are the people who are like diehard Cardano fans who are like, we need this stuff. I mean, we need this stuff to work, right? If people aren't
they're more
using this
like just
stuff,
supporting it.
yeah, exactly. It's like, look, I might get fucked over in the process, but at least I'm like helping the protocol succeed because if people aren't using this stuff and putting liquidity in these pools, we can't have Bitcoin on Cardano. We can't have US dollars on Cardano. And it's like, and we need that stuff for it to be like, you know, to be the number one chain. And so it's a
Yeah,
bad look if like all of a sudden we have these apps that make this stuff capable and then no one uses it, right? So that's
yeah,
also one of those things where it's up to them, like the people who make the protocols to be like to get market makers on here too to put a shit ton of liquidity in here. That's the issue though. Also, is like we're in a macro environment where there's just not a lot of money flowing around. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just hard to get, like no one's investing into a lot of these applications. So it's like for retail, it's kind of hard to use this stuff.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I'm glad it's here, and I will use it eventually. I just want to see more. I want to see more applications go live, and I'm not. I need better interest rates. Like if it's gonna entice
What is it
me.
at? Does it say
No, it doesn't. I
the
mean,
rewards? Hover over the question mark.
where?
Available rewards. Oh, it just explains what it is. Never mind.
So
Maybe it's if you go to Indigo Docs, it'll tell you.
Well, I think it keep
I thought
changing
it was like
slightly.
3% or something.
Yeah, I think it's like 3%. So
2 Oh, it's a fee.
there's a lot of fees on these things too, which kind of sucks because that eats into your
Yeah.
interest. So it's that's the problem. It's only like for the amount of risk you're taking, you're only gonna gain about 1 or 2% extra
Yeah.
for staking or using the protocol. And unless you have like a couple hundred grand, it's like you're not really making that much money. I
Yeah.
mean, it depends on your time scale too. It's like there's how fast you want to make money. Like I guess there's different ways to make money, and like you want to diversify yourself, and it's like in theory, it should be a very stable way to make money on chain. So
Yeah.
there is a use case. It's just like what's your risk tolerance?
Right. Not very high for most people right now.
I might throw a couple $100 in there just to support the cause.
Just to see what's up.
Throw a couple
Yeah.
Bitcoins in there, see what happens.
Yeah.
We also got.
Spectrum.
Oh, did that pop open yet?
The test net is live.
Okay, let's
Spectrum.
hold on to that. Let's do Optum Finance because they're live.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of cool shits online now, which is great.
I don't think I've looked at that one yet.
Yeah, this is basically liquidity for if you're trying to make your own stake pool.
Oh.
And it's very fucking hard to like start a stake pool right now,
Yeah.
But with this, basically, if you've had a pool that's been running for a while and you need some liquidity to be like, hey, I need some people to fucking stake to my pool so I can make some blocks and so I can pay people out, right? Because right now the way stake pools are is if you don't have at least 2 million staked in your pool, you're not getting those you're not getting rewarded with blocks that are getting minted, and so people are going to leave your block if you're too small, and you'll never accrue enough people to like really make some money. And this also helps with decentralization, right? The more stake pools we have, the more decentralized it is, the harder it is to shut this thing down, right? So this is the middleman. Optum Finance is being the middleman, where it's like, hey, we're going to have a bunch of liquidity on our application, go through our steps, and then we'll look at your pool and be like, okay, this guy's a good actor, like we should help him out. And they'll let you go and try to lend ADA, and then that way your pool can start minting blocks, and then hopefully like within 6 months you give back that ADA, and then you'll have enough people using your stake pool where now you're off to the races. Now you actually have a stake pool that's making money, and then maybe it becomes your full-time job. You start making all kinds of cool stuff. It becomes a small business for you, but like it's just so basically they're kind of being like a small bank where they're giving you a small business loan, and then that way you can start your stake pool off, and you're off to the races. So I love this idea. It's like really great for the community. Right now there's 107,000 ADA in it locked, so that's great too because it's helping out the TVL of Cardano, right?
Yeah.
And then like we could also take a look at that, where we can see how, like, since a couple of these apps have come online that are on chain, like how much that has helped Cardano's TVL. And not much,
to the moon.
But we're just starting. We're just starting. Like, this has like been a week.
Yeah.
So, it's good to see like Indigo.
Hard to get any TVL in general.
Look, Indigo's got
right now
$8 million. So like this thing just came on like a couple weeks ago, so that's great to see. You know what I mean? Because that means people are actually putting real money in here and locking it up and having IBTC and IUSD and using that, and then like I mean, it's weird that we're not seeing uh Optum Finance in here either. But it should be because it's like 107,000, so it's like right at number 9.
Yeah, they
So
probably
I
don't
mean,
have
give it a couple more weeks. I'm
media.
sure it'll get up there.
Yeah, there's plenty of new stuff coming out, which is exciting. Um, but it's just we're not gonna fight off the bear market with these new technologies, but we might take over some market share from like other chains or something. But um, if you if you look at the charts and stuff, like it's really been a brutal few months or weeks. I mean, the last month has felt like a year. But yeah, it's just been like now we're down here. We've flattened out a lot, I feel like. And now the price movement is so like minimal day to day. It's just like really boring and you really can't even trade like this kind of thing. Not that I was trading before, but if people out there do.
Right.
Um, and then like the FTX thing fucked us for sure. But even like the S&P, it had a nice little rise, but now it's kind of coming back down and flattening out too. And then like JP Morgan and then BlackRock are like, oh yeah, we're get ready for a big recession.
That's
But
what's scaring
then
people.
yeah, but to me it's like those guys do not give a fuck about you like at all. They want to fuck
Yeah.
you over.
Yeah.
They want to put fear in you. Like so if you think about it from their perspective, like if it like why would they tell you that? Like they want you to sell, they want you to be scared so they can grab up more assets. Like I would take it with like a grain of salt. Like kind of makes me feel like things will turn around sooner than expected just because they would probably be saying like, "Oh no, like things are getting better." Like they're kind of telling you the opposite of what's true, I feel like. Like what incentive do they have to be like telling you the truth when they make money off counter trading?
Yeah. I agree. I think there is some truth to what you're saying, but I also believe that there is like a recession coming, and that's what's keeping a
Yeah.
lot of people away. Like they want to see some stability in the markets, and it's like we have like 2 to 3 weeks of the market going up really high, and then it comes back down, and it's really hard. Like unless you're a professional trader, like to not just pull back your money and just like wait on the sidelines until like you get 6 months of like a direction where it trends,
Yeah.
and that's where most people will come in. But it's more or less like for most people it's like what's your position in life, like are you able to still like buy, like I think a lot of people are using these markets to make money on a day-to-day basis. And if you're constantly just losing money, if you're trying to mint NFTs and they're going down in price, you lose money. If you're
Mhm.
on these dexes and you're in a liquidity pool, you're losing money, right? And so unless you're like really fucking smart and like you're a coder or something, or you're one of these people who are using like a sandwich attack on MinSwap to make money, like it's so hard to like to be able to like not have a day job and just do this stuff full time. So
Yeah, there's no way.
right now I think we just need more apps to come on to like show us that there is a use case for this stuff where it's like viable regardless of a bear bull market, right? And that's kind of some of the stuff that's being built out right now. And that stuff's really fucking important. Like a liquid finance, really, like we really need it right now, so that people can
Yeah.
borrow and lend out money to other people so they can make trades and stuff. It's just like right now it's a liquidity issue, right? And so the more liquidity that we have so people can borrow and lend, that's where the action's at. And when we don't have enough of that shit on chain, right, and you have all these exchanges going down, these centralized exchanges like FTX, there's nowhere for this money to go. And that's why things are slow, right? And so
Yeah.
we need things to be connected, we need things to be safe and secure. And once that starts to happen, then like you'll slowly see this turnover. And then regardless of a bull or bear market, this stuff will work. And then you could use it, right? So like now you're starting to have like US dollars stable coins on Cardano. Now if you make money, you could throw it into there and it's not going to lose its price, it's not going to lose its value, right? So now you can start to diversify. It's like, okay, I minted these 3 NFTs, I'm going to sell 2 of them, I made 2,000 ADA, I'll put that in US dollars, and then I don't care if the market goes up or down, right? But that's
Yeah.
good because you're still having that value locked in Cardano that looks good for the chain. So that stuff's so important, you know? And the
Yeah.
more and more of those stablecoins that we have, you know, you're also decentralizing that trust of having one place where you're making a honeypot. Where like someone's just hyper focused on that. Like, how the fuck do I break this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that scares a lot of people too, because there's nowhere else to go. If that thing fails and you have 50 grand in there, you're fucked. You
Hmm.
know, this is what happened with Wing Riders when they bridged over a couple US dollar stable
Yeah.
coins and that didn't work. And it's like, okay, now where do I go? It's like people are going to be apprehensive until there's like 2 or 3 where we have like Cody's Dejed coin and I think USADA too, USDA, terrible name. But until we diversify our stablecoin collection on chain, it's like it's hard because it's like shit. This one's breaking. Let me go to USDA. Let me go to Dejed, and like at least you're lowering your risk points, right?
Yeah.
But I
And then you
think it's
can trade.
coming. I think it's coming. It's just like that's the cool part about being here right now is like I feel fortunate. Like I am looking at the glass half full right now. Like I know prices are going down, but there's so much shit going on right now. This gives me time to research and look at this stuff and see what's really working, right? Like I'm looking into AGIX, right? Because we have this blow up in AI stuff like Chat GPT, which is super interesting, and Stable Diffusion, which like basically makes art. Like the art behind me was made by Stable Diffusion, and like I just love some of the shit that it makes, and it just blows me away, you know, because you're starting to like be able to replace whole teams of graphic designers with just one application, right? So what does that mean? Like what I love about
Finally.
let's get those people out of a job. But I love that idea where it's like this iteration of like Chat GPT where it's like it can code your own application for you. It's like that is so powerful, right? Where one person can make their own business. Like this guy just made a children's book with Chat GPT, and then he made all the artwork with Stable Diffusion, and then he's selling it on Amazon, right? Where it's
That's
like,
insane.
yeah, and he made it in like less than a day, and now he's selling the book for $20 on Amazon. Like, if somebody make it, even if he sells one book, he's already in profit, right? And that's the kind of stuff where you look at and you be like, wow, that's like another way for me to make money. Where it's like not even that fucking hard, right? And you didn't do anything, and you don't have any stock, right? You're not keeping the books in your house, so
Yeah.
there's like no cost for you because all this stuff was free to use. But you just made a children's book for less than a day that somebody probably took a year to like write their own children's book, find an artist. You know what I mean? So all that
Yeah.
stuff gets smashed down to one level. And I was thinking about that too, where it's like with Stable Diffusion, they all make you pay for it, right? Like they'll let you play with it for a couple of, like, you can do 2 or 3 pictures, but eventually they're like, hey, you got to pay for this now, which is
Yeah.
fine. But I think it would be really cool if, like, AGIX, which is an AI company, would let you use their token, and then they would just make. I mean, it's an open source project. Like, they could just take what's already out in the market and make an application, and I could use AGIX tokens that I have and pay for it. It's like, that is such a like,
Yeah.
why aren't they doing that? You know what I mean? Like, put that on chain. It's like, it's stuff like that. It's like right there. It's like, just take it. Like, it takes one developer to do that. It makes me really
Yeah.
excited, and I think all that stuff's just like on the precipice of like exploding, because they're also, each iteration is like coming faster and faster. Like, it's been out for like 2 months, and they're on like Stable Diffusion 2.5, which is crazy, because it's like, we're gonna get to this point where it's like they're making movies, like Avengers types movies. Like, all you have to do is go into Chat GPT, make me a Marvel movie, and then
Yeah.
they'll have the script, they'll have the CGI done for you. It'll all move. It'll all be told in story form. Think about that. Like, Disney spends billions of dollars on these movies, and you'll be able to make it within a couple minutes. Like, that's the kind
Yeah.
of power that's been unlocked. And it's like, I'm just excited for people's creativity to start shining when they get their hands on that type of shit.
Yeah. The other day I was messing with Chat GPT, and I was just creating like TV show scenes that are like absurd, and it was just cracking me up, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, because I'm like creative, I can think of like a funny scenario, but like I'm not gonna type it all out. Like, I don't, it's just dumb. Like,
Yeah.
like I did Yoda is addicted to rock star energy, like write a scene, and it was just fucking hilarious. But it's like amazing that the AI is that good, that it's like accurate to like the character's personality. And I showed it to one of my friends, and they're like, I can't believe a human isn't behind this. Like, this is crazy. But yeah.
And that was just you fucking with it for 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, imagine you really like understanding what prompts will do what, and then
Right.
spending hours with it, like what you'll be able to do. It's, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. I was reading this Flantoshi tweet
Shout out to
thread.
Flantoshi. Give him a
Yeah.
follow.
He's basically like he's like kind of breaking down why crypto isn't really catching on, and kind of saying like, what has crypto done to like affect our lives? Like, the technology is cool, but we have this cool technology, but we haven't applied it in a way that's like life changing yet. And he's kind of like, the scammers have kind of just taken control of it, and like it's all been negative, and he's kind of like, crypto is kind of bound to die off, but the technology will one day become useful, and like the technology and like the blockchains that stick around, will be the ones to really profit off of it. But he thinks like the golden age of like everyone trying to make something with it is kind of dead. So I thought that was an interesting thread. I kind of agree with it, even though it's super bearish. But like, he does have a point. Like, we haven't really changed people's lives with it. Like, you can't go up to some stranger and be like, how has crypto changed your life?
Right.
They'll probably be like, oh, I've never used it.
Yeah. I think I disagree with that idea. For me, where I see it going is everything will have some type of a token, because in a digital economy, like, everything has to have a certain value to it. Like, even if it's like a couple cents, even if it's like a penny or a half a penny, right? And then that way, when we start entering like these metaverses, like, because this thing has value, like, it has a use case, and like that's how you give something um like value. It's weird, like in the real world, like this phone I have, right?
Hmm.
There's a value to it, and it's like it's
All
just
that
like
porn on it.
exactly. um but you have to like give things value for it to be usable. It's hard for me to explain. Does that make
But I mean,
like
things have a value already, like, right? Why do they need a token?
it's not that they need a token, but it's the way to express value on chain. You know, like unless somebody makes a different way to like define value on chain, like the only thing we have right now is tokens. So like the thing I always go back to is like video games like Call of Duty and like with skins and stuff that sell for $50,000. It's like there's no reason those skins should cost that much. Like some of them cost $1 million
Yeah.
to change your gun into like a red color, which is fucking insane. But it's like to truly unlock that is like you need to open source that video game and then be able to use that skin on any gun that you use in any game, right? And then all of a sudden like the world keeps opening up. I think it's I understand where he's coming from, and I think that's more of like an idea of like crypto's dead. Like we always have that. It's the bear market. Like was he saying that
Yeah.
6 months ago? Was he saying that a year ago when everything was up? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
um I think the world keeps changing and the world keeps evolving, and we really don't understand what computers are going to do to us in the next 20 years. Like nobody could have seen this like happening. So like how the fuck are you going to know what's going to happen in 10 years? Like these are just tools.
True.
You know what I mean? And we're getting to this place with like all this AI technology that becomes smarter than us. It's like how do you know what it's going to create in the future? Like I just think you're limiting your own
Yeah.
creativity when you're saying things are dead. You're saying I don't want to think about this anymore. Therefore it's dead. So I could use my mind for other things. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
somebody who's inspired and passionate would look at this and be like, how else can I use this? Right?
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing a lot of smarter people being able to try and fail. Like the most important thing in life is to try and fail at something. That way you know like what I could use out of it. Like if you're not going out there, if you're not risking, if you're not trying things out, even if it doesn't work, at least you know that it doesn't work and now you can like change your mind and do something else, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't think he's wrong. I just don't think I think he needs to think deeper about it.
I think like there's just like a gap between like crypto and everything else, and like there needs to be like a bridge,
Yeah.
to like connect them, because crypto has so much cool like technology and so many cool ideas, but the only ones that get funded are like, the ones that are about making money, or like, financial ones. But I think there's other like opportunities and tools that can be
Oh yeah.
used that are like going to be way more impactful. I just don't think those have been bridged like with our daily lives. Like, a lot of crypto stuff you can only do on like a desktop computer. Like most people don't spend all day on a laptop or desktop. So you need it all to be on your phone, and like we're not even at that point yet.
And that's the
Some stuff
problem.
it
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all right there, but it's like we need to keep coding and getting it easier and easier for people to like I was trying to mint that one project that we're into, the Mechanist, minting now.
Yeah.
Go get one. I couldn't mint on. I was at work. I couldn't mint on my phone, so I had to wait till I got home, which I thought was bullshit. It's like stuff like that where I'm a hardcore crypto guy and I couldn't even mint on my mobile. Like
Yeah.
that's just easy stuff that should be a no brainer. Like most
Yeah.
people aren't home, and that's one of the most amazing things about having a mobile phone is I am able to go do a bunch of tasks and have my phone and then also be empowered by that. Like Like I was painting my house, and the whole time I was painting my house, I was listening to podcasts to like keep me entertained, right? And
Yeah.
like I couldn't do that if I didn't have my phone. Like I can't just put my TV on and like because I'm running from room to room to do stuff, and it's like it's hard to keep
Yeah.
up with. Like, okay, I don't know what happened in this conversation. I missed it. But if I'm wearing Bluetooth headphones and walking around my house, like it's always with me, you know?
Yeah. And I was driving across the country and I for like 30 hours, like you're just driving and I was able to have like a podcast streaming the entire time. It's like
Yeah.
I'm in like, you know, Bufu, West Virginia and it still works and it's like, you know, that's awesome and like it's changed our lives so much. And now I don't have to be bored when I'm driving.
Right.
But like we need more of that, from the crypto verse. But
I think it's
I
coming.
think
It's just this
it's just
stuff is
like
so hard to code. It's not easy. But like with like
yeah,
Chat GPT and stuff like that, I think it makes it easier for people who are like willing to try to like start make stuff too, you know? It's like the
yeah,
barrier to entry starts to come down and down and down throughout the years. And that's why I also don't like the idea of like these tokens are useless because like with liquid finance, it's like if I want to take a loan out, I'll be able to do that with that token, right?
yeah,
Or it just opens up so many more advanced use cases. It's like right now we're still in that era of copying Ethereum. And that's the funny thing too. Like if you went back 4 years and you told somebody that you're able to like do all this stuff with like dexes weren't a thing like
yeah,
3 4 years ago. So to sit here and tell me that like crypto's dead or like these tokens are dead, it's like, well, no one saw that 4 years ago, or no one saw NFTs 4 years. So how can you say that this is dead or like that's not the use case when it's like, no, it's working. Like we had a bull market because of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like people got crazy interested. Like Flying Toshi is interested in NFTs. Like those weren't here 4 years ago. So like theoretically speaking, you wouldn't have been here if it weren't for that token. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And now you have this engagement on Twitter where it's like your PFP is an NFT, and it's like it's just hard for me to like. How could you say that when everything you talk about online is about this stuff? You know what I mean? It's still silly. It's like,
Your whole personality is like your whole Twitter account is thanks to crypto.
yeah,
That has value too.
it has value. It's just it's so much easier to pick on things when nothing's making money, right? It's just
Yeah,
right
and more
now it's
people
like,
will agree with it.
yeah. Also speculation, like I think that's gonna be out the window where it's like you just see a token that has a name and you're like putting $1,000 on that because someone else did. It's like that is out the window. I want to see people make use cases for things like hopefully Axo Trade will have like really interesting use cases, or liquid finance and Optum finance. Like this stuff is like they don't have tokens for that. It's just liquidity bonds. It's like they're trying to jumpstart stake pools. Like that's a fucking use case. Like, you know what I mean? Like that is a use case for a thing that was not real 4 years ago, where it's cool. Like what is a stake pool operator? Why do we need them? It's
Yeah,
like, well, regardless, like they need money to make their stake pool. You know what I mean? And so
yeah,
you start to see people solve these problems, and then the more stake pools you have, those are people that know how to code, that need to get people to use their stake pool. How do they do that? Well, maybe they'll make NFTs, maybe they'll make their own application, right? And then those people are here forever because that's their small business, that's their baby that they want to keep running, right? So they're going to make more and more advanced things that make you, that suck you in, that engage you.
yeah,
And that's what's so cool about Cardano is because like with Bitcoin, you have minting pools, and all they're doing is making sure that they have enough energy to make the next block, right? But they don't need like an application or like a pool of like people to like to engage with. But with smart contracts on Cardano, now I can be like, cool, I'll make a really cool application that will make people use my stake pool, right? And that's kind of like what Gucci IO is doing with theirs, is like to use their protocol. Like all that liquidity that gets stored in those HODL contracts is being staked in that Gucci stake pool, and then that keeps that stake pool running, and that keeps that small business running. So regardless if you use Gucci IO or not, like he's making money that way too, which is kind of interesting. It's like maybe you don't like that application, but that's a really interesting thing that he made, you know, and it's beneficial to the whole society of Cardano. So I
Yeah.
think you're going to get more people like that that are really smart. I mean, we have thousands of stake pools like that. Theoretically speaking, each one can have their own application that sucks you in and makes it do something original, you know? And
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love that idea because it's like keep taking your shot, man. That's the best part about like internet technology. It's like there's no cost of like having that coin just sit on chain forever. Like even a dead NFT can come back in 10 years if somebody figures something out. And like, oh, this is cool now. Like I'm going to make this a thing, you know?
Yeah. That's true.
So it's like also it's like maybe I never want to sell my NFTs that are like dead cuz
Someone
something
will bring them
yeah,
back to life.
right.
Yeah. All right.
I blacked out what happened.
I don't know. I blacked out too. We do have a, if you want to do a special interview
We do have a
to,
special guest, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, we got him. I don't know how Eric did his thing.
I reeled him in, Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Hey, how's it going, Mike? Pleasure to be with you.
It's going great, Sam. Do you want me to call you Sam or Mr. Fried, or what do you go by?
Um, it's not really it's not really up to me. You can call me what you want. I don't want to put words in your mouth. So, Sam or SBF. I mean, take your pick. That's really up to you. I can't make a decision for you. So that's going to be up to you, and your legal team.
Sam, couple questions for you. First and
Shoot.
foremost, you had $8 billion on FTX.
hmm
Where did that money go?
So I can't say for sure. My best guess, Mike, would be so the money, my girlfriend, I gave it to her on a flash drive. She was part of Alameda, which I had nothing to do with, and I'm not sure, Mike, but my best guess would be she had a lot of purses and valuable jewelry. So I'm not here to put blame on anyone, but I think you would have to talk to her because she does have the flash drive that I gave to her with $8 billion. So I look, I'm not the brightest guy in the world. I know that. I take blame for whatever she did with the money, but I apologize if it hurt anyone's feelings that they lost the money, but they are also at fault for putting that much trust in, a centralized exchange. I think we really need to get away from that stuff, which I think taught them a valuable lesson.
So you lost $8 billion, and you're trying to blame retail for losing that.
Well, no, look, I'm not trying to blame anyone, Mike. I think I take full responsibility for what I did, which was being ignorant, and um, the retail, um, they need to figure out a way to get that money back. I'm no longer the CEO, Mike, so that's up to them, and I will take blame for what I did, which was I went to sleep that night and I lost the flash drive. It was under my pillow,
Your
and
story keeps changing, Sam.
uh, that's on me. Yeah, my best guess is because I was actually in a haze that day because I had just seen a shaman
Sam,
from
regardless of your haze, regardless of all this stuff that's going on, like, why didn't you have a board of
yeah.
directors to like to police you, to make sure that like you couldn't just put, oh, let's say $8 billion on a flash drive and give it to your girlfriend who was the CEO? Why would you not have steps like that
Well,
in place?
my shaman told me that having a board of directors was a sign of weakness, and look, I didn't make that decision, but my if I, had my best guess of who was involved in that decision, I would have to say I did have a board of directors lined up, but when I tried to call them, I had no signal on my phone,
Interesting.
and so that
Can I ask you a personal
that's
question?
not a
I heard you were
sure.
polyamorous. Were you intimate with your board of directors as well?
Um, you know, a lot of times when I'm having sex, I am also in a haze, so I'm not sure. But my best guess
And the
would
haze, is
be,
that due to the drug use?
uh, you know, drugs. Uh, sometimes, look, sometimes there's pills on my table. My butler will put them there. I don't know what they're doing, what's in the pills, but I take them. And if those are drugs, I will take responsibility for being ignorant. But yes, I took the pills that were on my desk that morning. And by that night, I had, certain things in my mouth. I was putting things in other people's mouths. Was it my potential board of directors? My best guess would be potentially that could be the case, but I would have to talk to my lawyers and see. Um, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I did get an STD,
Sam,
and
I don't
that
want to hear
also.
about Sam. Let's get back to more of the financial stuff. How do you make this right for people? All those people that you screwed over. How do you come back from this?
I
And
don't I don't want to say screwed over, Mike, because here's the thing. I want to give them the money back. I have a few $1 billion that I could give to them, but I'm no longer the CEO of the company. So my hands are tied. And my best guess as to if they'll get that money back, they would have to go through some sort of court settlement. And there's a lot of lawyer fees and things like that. And if I were the head of the company, I would minimize those. But I am not. So that is on the company FTX
so you have
to
no blame whatsoever. Do you think you should do jail time? Or do you
jail. That's tough for me, Mike, because I have a lot of mental issues. I am borderline autistic, and that's gonna be tough for me, Mike, to go to jail. I think I've paid a lot already. I have BitBoy coming to my house, taking pictures of my Toyota Corolla. If that's not like the death penalty, I don't know what other punishments there are, but I would say jail. No, my best guess as to what punishment would be good for me, I think house arrest in my mansion in the Bahamas is gonna be about the most I would do.
Okay, so moving
Yeah.
on, Sam. There's been another story coming out about you buying off a lot of media, like the Block CEO
I
just
love
stepped
those
down
guys. Yeah.
because apparently you gave him a bunch of money to buy a couple houses in the Bahamas himself. What are your thoughts on buying off the media
Um,
to promote the tokens that your company were benefiting from the most?
I just did an interview with the Block, and I think you'll love to hear that one. It was very positive. I came off very well. Buying companies, media companies, that's a little bit far fetched, I think.
So
I think
why the CEO stepped down if that's not the case? I mean,
I
the
don't
legal
have
work's
the
there.
I don't have the paperwork in front of me right now, but my best guess as to why he stepped down, maybe he was feeling a lot of pressure and stress. Mike, I know you have your own podcast that doesn't probably do as well, but if people were coming at you saying you're involved in all this garbage, I think that stress, my best guess would cause him to step down. I don't think maybe he went to the Bahamas. I don't know. If he is here, I would be buying him dinner. Um, but I just don't have those facts all in front of me right now. Okay.
Sam, thank you so much for wasting our time today. Really appreciate it.
I think that's unfair. You're welcome for the time that I've given you. I think it was a waste of time on my part. I could have been playing League of Legends. So thank you for wasting my time, actually.
So considerate of you, Sam. That was Sam Bankman-Fried, ladies and gentlemen.
Great job, Mike.
Thank you so much.
You really held his feet to the fire. I like that.
You know, I tried. He's real slippery. He's real grimy. So it's hard to.
Never knows what's going on. So for
Guy.
for a genius billionaire, it's tough.
Yeah, poor guy. Just doesn't know what's going on. Guys, that's gonna do it for us this week. Thank you so much for staying tuned and watching our exclusive interview with Sam Bankman-Fried. Stay tuned next week. We're gonna have some goodies for you next week. And with that,
all right, guys,
enjoy your day.
Stay positive.